Hello friends and welcome to YouTube channel Freedom Tech, and in this session what we are going to learn, we are going to create a car parking space detected project on our Raspberry OS Bullseye Raspberry Pi 4 with the help of opencv. Okay, so before we move to our practical, friends, if you learned something from our videos, please consider to subscribe our channel. Okay friends, thank you so much, and let's get started. So friends, as I told you, we are going to create here a car parking space detected project on our Raspberry OS Bullseye 64-bit version Raspberry Pi 4. Okay, first you need to install the opencv on Raspberry OS Bullseye. I have already created the video how to install the opencv on Raspberry OS Bullseye 64-bit version. Okay, so just install opencv. Okay, so I have already installed the opencv. Then simply open Tony editor, and here as you can see I have already created the file. The file name is cpark.py. This is what our file name. Okay, and inside that I have created a basic code as we always do for reading our video file. Okay, so import cv2, then cap is equal to cv2 dot video capture, then this is what our video file name. Okay, then while loop. Okay, then cv2 dot in show, then if cv2 wait key, then break cap dot release cv2 dot destroy all windows. This is what the basic code for reading our video frame. Okay, so if I run the code, as you can see, this is what our video. This is a time lapse video, that's why it's a fast. Okay, as you can see the cars are parking, then there is a space. Okay, so I will share video with also. Okay, I will share the link. If you want to download this video, you can simply download the video. Okay, as I told you, we are going to create a two-part tutorial. This is our first part. Okay, so simply first what we are going to do, first we need to freeze our video frame. Okay, so we need to mention here wait key as a 0, then our video frame will be freeze. Okay, so if I save the code, because as you can see I have mentioned here a 0, wait key 0. Okay, so if I run the code, so as you can see now our video basically is completely freeze. Okay, so what basically we are going to do, we are going to go a step by step. First we need to create a rectangle on our parking space, also on our car. Okay, it means we need to create a rectangle here, here also, here also, here also. On all the cars we need to first create the rectangle. When the car move, then of course the rectangle will be on empty space. So right now there is a cars in basically the parking area, so we need to draw the rectangle, or we can say we need to generate, or we need to create the region of interest area, ROI, region of interest area. So for that we are going to use a cv2 function, cv2 inbuilt function, which is the ROI. Okay, so simply what we are going to do here, after we read our after basically the capture, as you can see cv2 video capture, we are going to mention the success frame cap dot read. So simply copy it, paste over here, then we need to resize our frame. Simply copy this section, paste. Okay, now we have our frame. Now we resize the frame. Now we can basically detect the ROI. So ROI is equal to cv2 dot select capital ROI, and we need to pass our frame. Okay, so this is how we can basically use the ROI function of our opencv. Now if I save the code, if I run the code, as you can see, select ROI and then press space or enter button. Means first we need to select our region of interest area, then we need to simply press the enter button. Okay, so in this video frame we have the region of interest area here. As you can see, this is what our region of interest area. Simply we need to press the left button of our mouse, and then we need to simply draw this kind of rectangle. It will automatic draw. Okay, I'm going to show you again. I just press the left button of our mouse, and then this is what our region of interest area, ROI. This is basically the rectangle. Okay, so if we want to create the rectangle in opencv, we need a top left coordinates and we need a right bottom coordinates. Okay, so as you can see here, there is a x and y. If I move the mouse over on our frame, these x and y coordinates are changing. So basically this is what our x y coordinates. So we need to draw the rectangle. For that, simply what we want to do, where we create our region of interest area, this is what our blue rectangle, which is our region of interest area. We need to simply move our cursor on top here, as you can see, top here, top left. Okay, top left, and then we will get the x and y coordinates. So if I move here, we will get the coordinate which is x is equal to 196 and y is equal to 373. So this is what our rectangle top left coordinates, x and y. So we need to mention 196 and 373. So let's just mention here. So we are going to mention here 196 and 373. This is what our rectangle top left coordinates. Okay, now right bottom. Okay, so right bottom is here. So right bottom coordinate 225 and 400. 225 and 400. So we need to mention 225 and 400. That's it. Now we have our coordinates. Now simply save the code and stop the code. Okay, now we have our coordinates. With the help of these coordinates, we can simply draw the rectangle. Now we don't need anymore the success, frame and ROI. So simply we want to comment these three lines. That's it. And then we are going to draw the rectangle using these coordinates. Simply after frame resize, we need to mention cv2 dot rectangle. Inside that we need to mention the frame, because we are going to draw our rectangle on our frame. Then the coordinates, which is 196, 373, then 225 and the 400. That's it. Then we need to mention the color. We are going to make a red. So 0, 0, 255 and the thickness 2. Okay, that's it. Now if I save the code and if I run the code, as you can see, we have the rectangle. We have now rectangle. Now what we want to do, we want to basically draw the rectangle on all the cars. Okay, so instead of creating the rectangle manually for each car, we are going to use here a set mouse callback function. We are going to use a mouse event. I have already created the video how to configure the mouse event on opencv. Watch video and just you will get the idea how to use the mouse event. So in today's session also we are going to use the mouse event. We are going to use the L button down mouse event. With the help of L button down, we will get the coordinates, and then with the help of x and y coordinates, we can draw the rectangle automatic. Okay, so right now we have already one rectangle. So with the help of these rectangle coordinates, we will get our width and height. So how to do this? Simply I am going to stop the code. So we have our coordinates 196, 373, 225 and 400. So what we want to do, as I told you, we need here a fixed width and fixed height. So what we are going to do, simply open the menu, go to the accessories, open the calculator, and we are going to minus 225 in 196. Then we will get our rectangle width, then 400 width 373 minus, we will get our height. Okay, so simply 225 minus 196 is equal to 29. So this is what our rectangle fixed width, 225 minus 196, 29. So where we want to mention? We want to mention here W and H is equal to, so we have now our width is basically 29. Now we want our height, so simply clear, and 400 minus 373, 400 minus 373 is equal to 27. So this is what our height. Okay, so we have now our fixed width, which is the 29, and we have our fixed height, which is the 27. Now with the help of this width and height, we can draw the rectangle using our mouse event. Okay, so now we have our width and height. We are going to create our mouse event function. Okay, so let's just create. Here we are going to create the function. So def, let's call it drawing. So this is what our function, drawing. You can mention any name. Okay, drawing, and inside that we need to mention event, then x and y coordinates, then flags, and then parameters. Okay, so def drawing is the function name. You can mention any name, then you need to mention the event, then x and y coordinates, then flags and the parameters. That's it. Now what we want to do, as I told you, we are going to use here a mouse event name L button down. Means when we press the L button of, means a left button of our mouse, we will get the xy coordinates of our frame. Okay, so simply if event is equal to cv2 dot event, cv2 dot event L button down. This is what our event. Okay, so when we click the L button, what we want to do, we want our points. So points is equal to this x and y. So we need to mention simply x and y. That's it. Now simply we are going to print the points. Okay, so we have now our function. Now we want to call back this mouse function after cv2 in show. So after cv2 in show, we need to mention like this way, cv2 dot set mouse call back, and inside that we need to mention this window name, same window name. The frame is here, so we need to also mention the frame. Same way, F capital and all the things are small. Okay, same window name. If you mention or if you change the window name, the function will not work. Okay, so mention same window name as you mention inside the cv2 in show frame. Okay, then we need to mention our function name, which is drawing. Okay, as we create here a drawing, so we need to mention the drawing function. That's it. Now what we want to do, we want to also change the weight key, because if we freeze our frame, we will not get the xy coordinates. So we want to change, or we want to increase our weight key. So simply I am going to mention weight key 32. Okay, so save the code, and if I run the code, oh, there is an error. As you can see, cv2 has no attribute set mouse callback. Okay, what we make here a mistake, the b is small. Okay, so remember this thing, set m is capital, c is capital, and all the things are small. Set mouse callback. That's it. Now if I save the code, if I run the code, as you can see, this is what our frame. Now it's running. Now if I click anywhere, as you can see, we have here x and y coordinates. If I click L button from our mouse anywhere, we will get the x y coordinates. Okay, x y coordinates. As you can see, we have our x and y coordinates. So this is how we will get our x and y coordinates. Now what we want to do, we are going to create a empty list, and inside that list we are going to append all these points. Okay, so how to do this? Simply first we need to create here a empty list. So points is equal to empty list. That's it. Points is equal to empty list. Then we need to mention here points dot append. Okay, and then inside that we need to mention our xy coordinates. That's it. Now we don't want to print here our points. Okay, so now what will be happen? Whenever we click L button, all the coordinates will get inside this list. Okay, now we have our list, and inside that list we have all the points. Now with the help of this list we can basically draw the rectangle. So how to do this? Simply after the frame where we have our switch to rectangle, after frame resize we need to create a for loop. So for PTS is just a variable, you can mention any. Okay, so PTS in these points. So for PTS in these points, so we need to mention here for PTS in points, then we are going to draw the rectangle. So like this way. Okay, CV2 dot rectangle, and now as I told you, we have our fixed width and height. Also we have our x and y coordinates. So we don't want to mention these coordinates manually. Simply what we are going to do, we are going to mention the index number of our x and y. So index number, this is what our x and this is what our y. So x index number is 0 and y index number is 1. So simply we are going to mention like this way. First PTS means first x and y, then PTS x means 0 plus our width, okay, so we need to mention plus w. Then same PTS, then we need to mention y. So y index value is 1, so 1, and y plus height, so h, and complete the bracket. That's it. CV2 dot rectangle frame PTS, here we need to mention the comma. Okay, frame PTS comma, then bracket PTS 0, 0 means the first, the x value, and PTS 1, so 1 is basically the y value, 1 plus height. So PTS 0 x plus width, PTS y plus height. I hope you all clear. 0 x and 1 y, then width and the height. That's it. Now simple. If I save the code and if I run the code, right now there is no rectangle on our frame. Now what we want to do, we want to simply move the mouse cursor and we need to press the L button. It will automatically create the rectangle. You can create many rectangles. You can create anywhere, as you can see. Okay, so this is how we can create the automatic rectangle with the help of fixed width and height, also with the help of our mouse event. Okay, so simply I am going to stop the code. That's it. Now we have our rectangle on our parking space area. Now what we want to do, if I run the code, as you can see, there is no rectangle. We want to create the rectangle, but what we want here, whenever we start our frame, whenever we start our code, the rectangle is already there. Means we want the rectangle is already on our frame. So how to do this? For that, what we want to do, we want to somehow save all these rectangles inside the file. Okay, so how to do this? Simply for that we are going to use a Python inbuilt function which is the pickle. So here we are going to create import pickle. We need to simply, you don't want to install a pickle, it is already inbuilt in Raspberry OS Bullseye with the Python version. Okay, so simply we need to mention here import pickle. That's it. Now what we are going to do, we are going to simply create a file with the help of pickle. So after the points dot append, we are going to use our pickle. So how to do this? Simply what we are going to do, we are going to mention how we basically create a file. So same things with open in bracket, we need to mention the file name. So let's mention cpark yt. This is what our file name, cpark yt. Then simply we want to create the file. Also we want to write our points inside the file. So we mention wb. W means write bytes. So W for writing and B for bytes. So WB as F. That's it. It will create cpark yt file with write permission. It will. We want to basically write all the coordinates of the rectangle inside the file. That's it. Now what we want to do? We want to simply mention here pickle dot dump. Pickle dot dump. What we want to dump? We want to dump our points. So simply we are going to mention our list name points. Okay. Then as F. So this F is right now our file. So simply we want to mention F. That's it. It will create the file and it will save all the rectangle coordinates inside the file. Okay. So now we have our file. Okay. Simply if I save the code, if I run the code, now if I create here a rectangle. Okay. So we have here a one rectangle. If I stop the code and if I run the code, as you can see, we create the rectangle, but there is no rectangle. But the rectangle coordinates save inside the cpark yt. So what we are going to do now, we need to call this file first here. Before the points, we need to read our file. So how to do this? Simply we are going to mention try, then we are going to copy this thing, copy it, go to the try and mention here, and this time we want to read our file. So our file name is cpark yt, and for reading the file we need to change W with the R. So R for reading file, then all the things are same as F. Then simply we need to mention dump. We need to change the dump with load, because we are going to load the file, and then now we don't want here our points, we want to simply read our file. We want to simply load our file. So pickle dot load is basically first our points. So what basically we are going to do here, when we start our code, the program will be check the coordinates inside the cpark yt file. If we create a new coordinates, then we can accept our points. So we need to mention here accept and then our points list. Okay. Otherwise it will load our coordinates which we have already inside the cpark yt file. That's it. So simply if I save the code and if I run the code, as you can see, we have now already rectangle on the card. So suppose if I create the rectangle, this is what our new rectangle. Okay. And if I stop the code, if I run the code, as you can see, right now we have two rectangle already on our frame. So this is how you can create the rectangle, like this way. Here also, here also, here also. If I stop the code, if I run the code, as you can see, we have already all the rectangle on our frame. Okay. So this is how we can create the file, we can load the file, also we can dump the file with the help of pickle. Okay. Now suppose we want to delete some rectangles. Suppose if I run the code again, Suppose if I click here, if I just create the rectangle here and we want to delete the rectangle, how to do this? Simply we are going to use again R button down mouse event. Okay, so simply what we are going to do, we are going to mention here if event is equal to cv2 dot event, cv2 dot event. Which event we are going to use? As I told you, we are going to use our mouse right button down, R button down. So simply R button down. So when we click right button, what will be happen? We need to delete all the things, means we want to delete our xy coordinates. Basically what we are going to do, we are going to delete our current coordinate with the coordinates which we are going to mention here. So how to mention? Simple. For, again same thing we need to mention here, for loop. So for I pts in enumerate, okay, for I pts in enumerate, and then we need to mention our list name, which is the points. Okay, so for I pts in enumerate, we need to mention the points, which is our list name. Then we are going to mention x1 and the y1 is equal to pts. So x1 y1, then what we are going to do like this way, if x in between x1, if x in between x1 plus width and y in between y1 plus height. This is basically our rectangle, x plus width, y plus height. So x1 in between x plus width, y1 in between y plus height. Then what will be happen? We are going to simply pop our points. So points dot pop, and we are going to pop our I. So I is basically the index number for our xy coordinates. That's it. Save the code. If I run the code, so here I have created a rectangle. Simply if I click the right button, as you can see, the rectangle is gone. If I click here, gone, 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 gone. Okay, all the rectangle will be deleted. Now I am going to create only one rectangle here. This is what our new rectangle. All the rectangle will deleted. Simply if I stop the code, if I run the code, as you can see, there is only one rectangle, which is the new rectangle which I have just created. Okay, so this is how, friends, first we create the rectangle on our parking space area. Okay, that's it. This is what our cpark.py file. This file we are going to use for creating the rectangle. We are going to use for saving the rectangle inside the file with the help of pickle. We are going to use this file also for deleting the rectangle. That's it. So now what we are going to do, we are going to create a new file. Okay, so now I have already created the file. So if I go here, file, open, and final car park main.py. If I open, as you can see, the same file, import cv2, import pickle, import numpy as np. Then this is what our video file name, and then this is how we can read our video file using the while loop. Okay, so simply if I run the code, and as you can see, the same video file. Okay, now what we want to do, we want to simply open our file, which is cparkyt, with the help of pickle, because inside that file we have our all the rectangles. So simply what we want to do here, we want to mention the same thing. So simply let's just copy it, but this time we are not going to use a try because we have already file. Okay, so simply copy it, go to the view file which we created, final car park main.py. You can mention any name. Okay, so simply we need to paste our here with open cparkytrb as f points is equal to pickle dot load f. It will read the file. Okay, then we need to mention also our width and height. So copy it and just go here and just paste it. That's it. Now we have our width and height. Now same thing we are going to do here again. We are going to move here, and after the frame for PTS in points. So we have now our points. As you can see, we need to make like this way. Okay, so points is equal to pickle dot load. So we have now our points already inside the cpark file. Okay, so after frame resize we are going to call the points. So for PTS in points, same thing. So just go here, copy it from our cpark.py file, copy it and just mention here. Same things. Okay. Now if I save the code and if I run our final car park main.py, as you can see, there is a one rectangle which we already created. Okay. Now what we want to do, we are going to create a more rectangle. Okay. So simply come to the again a cpark.py file, run the code and let's create more rectangle. Okay, so we have now more rectangles. Simply stop the code, come to the final park main.py. If I run the code, as you can see, we have already rectangle on our car parking space area. That's it. Now we have our rectangles. Now what we want to do, we want to crop the rectangle area. Okay, we want to crop the rectangle area. So for that we are going to create our crop function. So simply here mention the function. So def crop, again you can mention any name. I have mentioned the crop. This is what the function name, and inside that we need to mention our frame. Okay, then we are going to use here, what we are going to use, we are going to again use a points. So what we are going to do, we are going to copy all these things, just cut it, because right now we don't want to create here a for loop, simply because we are going to call our crop function here. So we need to copy all these things and we need to paste over here. That's it. For PTS in points, then cv2.rectangle frame PTS, all these things. This is how we can draw the rectangle on our frame. That's it. Now for PTS in points, what we want to do, we want to mention like this way, x and y is equal to PTS. Then we are going to mention the variable. The crop is just a variable name. Crop is equal to what we want to crop. We want to crop the rectangle. So where we have rectangle, we have rectangle on our frame. That's it. So simply we are going to mention the frame, and then we need to mention y colon y plus height. Okay, then x colon x plus width. That's it. Okay, now cv2.im show strx into y, it will create the names. It will create the automatic names for cropping the frame. Okay, so then we need to simply mention our crop variable, because this crop variable is our frame y colon y plus height s colon x plus width. That's it. Now simply we are going to mention here a crop. Okay, now what we want to do, we want to simply call our crop function after frame resize. So after frame resize, we are going to call our function, which is the crop, and inside that we need to pass our frame. That's it. Now simply save the code, and if I run the code, as you can see here, we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 rectangle and 6 rectangle crop area. As you can see, this is what the first, this is what the second, this is what the third. The car already inside in the rectangle. So this is what the area, this is what another car area, this is what there is a no car, so this is the empty space, and here as you can see there is a car. So it's crop only the rectangle area. Okay, So this is how you can basically create the rectangle. You can crop the area of the region of interest area, means the rectangle area. Okay, so this is for the first part. We successfully draw the rectangle with the help of mouse event. Also we successfully delete the rectangle using mouse event. Also we crop our rectangle area. In next part we are going to use image functions, and we are going to use the threshold, the dilate, and then we are going to basically compare the pixel different, and then we will get the difference between the empty space and the space where basically car is parking. So all these things we are going to do in our next video. I hope you learned something from this video. We'll meet our next video. Till then, thank you, take care, and bye bye.